is the Fat with a Fan channel. I'm your boy EC22. Yo, let's dive into a little bit of controversy, yo. Now, for real, I got a couple of topics, 5 topics I want to talk about that has been kind of swarming around the media and in people's heads here lately. And what we're going to talk about, I don't mean to offend any said group of people when I do meant to talk about these subjects, but these are just my opinion, and let's just go into it. The first one is transgender women. Should they compete in sports, particularly women's sports? And I think we all kind of have a similar viewpoint on it. We hear recently with the Olympics and stuff like that. So we're talking about a biological male competing in a women's sports. The reason that a lot of people say no, and it's always been the same for what I'm hearing, is that the biological male will always have an advantage over a biological female, regardless of what they transgender into or what gender they identify themselves with. The biological side of things does have a play in sport, and I don't disagree with that. But that's not the main reason why I don't think that transgender women should compete in women's sports. The real reason, and the main reason why I think we shouldn't allow it, is because we have to protect women's sports. We have to protect women's sports because we already see when it comes down to women's sports is that they don't get the same support, the same energy, financial, TV time, whatever, as men. And we're trying to change that narrative. They have a lot of different campaigns of trying to get more people to watch more of the women's sports. And when you start adding in that type of distraction, as far as the world being divided on that, it's going to take away from what the women are trying to do. I can't say that I wouldn't mind seeing it to where gender doesn't play a sports at all, to where we take the best of the best. But like I said, you're going to 86 a lot of athletes out there, primarily women, who won't get to play a sport if we just go down to a one gender sport and just take the best of the best. So for that reason, it's like no, not just my opinion on that. Esports. These video game playing individuals out there are making a lot of money with these games, man. They got their own esport league, and I've sat down and maybe watched 5 or 10 minutes of a Madden league one time. It was pretty interesting, but I mean, the question that has been thrown around is that should esports be a part of the Olympics? And my response to that is hell no. Listen, this is stupid. The ideal that someone even bring this up, we know what the Olympics is, and we looking at esports. Half these kids play online with people overseas anyway. So so you're not changing anything for them. So to try to have a national team with in every country to play these games, the ideal in the notion is just completely dumb and stupid, and I don't even know why somebody even introduced it. And if they do decide to get it by popular vote or whatever, I ain't watching it, straight up, because it's just dumb. Moving on from that, performance enhancing drugs. Should players, first of all, should they legalize it? And if they don't legalize, or since they haven't legalized it, should players get banned for life? Like, what is the ultimate ban for performance enhancing drug? Is banned for life one of them? My foundational question to should they make performance enhancing drug illegal is no. Of course, they shouldn't make it legal. But I've always held this stance, and I've always said it a lot of times, that when a player get caught doping or using performance enhancing drugs, always look at their career. Look at the last couple of games they played or the season that they played while using it. And I know sometimes it's hard to backtrace when they started and when they stopped, but at the end of the day, I'm like, part of me, the dark side of me says, yeah, make it legal, because that way everybody can take advantage of it. But the more sensible side of me obviously said, like I said earlier, no, you shouldn't make it legal. And for this reason that everybody body handle things differently. If they decide to make these drugs legal, there'll be a lot of players who wouldn't be feel comfortable taking them because they watch the natural stuff they put in their body. They don't eat certain foods, and now you want to prescribe these pills and stuff like that, or whatever they take to try to give them some type of edge. When it comes down to their physical abilities, a lot of players would take it. So then everybody, the way we handle certain things put in our body is different. So one player may have a better response to the next. So the playing field still wouldn't be even. So at that point, it's like, no. Now, I know that these leagues do this, but I still feel like it's worth to mention that I think they need to make a stronger an effort and put more effort on top of what they're already doing into trying to finding more natural, holistic ways that these individuals can sustain their endurance over a period of time, because we're asking more and more of these players. We're asking a lot more. I know a lot of times people say some of the games are getting softer because now they're just trying to protect the longevity of these players' life after football. We don't want them dying early based on the nature of sport they play. But while they're playing those sports, we start seeing, even with the softest set of leagues we have nowadays, we are seeing a whole lot more injuries than we have seen in the past. And I think it's just a grind of the game or whatever. And I think they need to find more healthier means, more legal means for these kids, for these athletes to enhance the longevity in their careers. Moving on from that, now let's talk about the whole Nick Saban comments he made about Texas A&M and Jackson State. Listen, what people are saying is that Nick Saban is wrong for his comments because Alabama has been on top for so long, and how dare Nick Saban, now that other colleges have an opportunity to recruit some of those players, to the organizations and to the program. Now he got a problem because now they feel like the playing field is getting more even. So I think Nick Saban may not be fully aware of actually what took place at Texas A&M or Jackson State. And for that, yeah, he was wrong here. But I don't want people to miss the point he was making. So a lot of times when people are using examples and metaphors to prove a point, if we don't like the example or the metaphor, we attack the metaphor and the example as though that was the content and the opinion or the message that person was trying to bring, and it wasn't that. The point he was making and trying to bring, which I more than agree with, is that he embraces the N.I.L. Kids getting funded through N.I.L. name, image, and likeness. He said he's embraced it. He said he's come up with a platform for his kids to let them know, hey, get an agent. These are things you're going to get to do. He talked about he had 25 kids last year who was able to benefit from that. But you look at the program over the years he's built. Everybody want to go to Alabama, and I get it because of the program he created. A winning atmosphere, the resources, taking kids out on his property for a camp to go swimming and to bond, whatever. On top of they just been the bomb.com football university we've seen in recent years. So why not would you want to go to Alabama? And I get it. Now when he called kids and want to bring him in, it used to be the name itself. Hey, this is Nick Saban from Alabama. We love to have you. Now it's like, oh, how much you gonna pay me? So, and I think this is where the information he got was wrong, because what he was saying is that the players, that some of these institutions who we named have set up this collective whatever that's sponsored by boosters, and they're putting money into this pot or whatever. And and then when kids come in and want to get paid through name, image, and likeness, they can pull from this pot and guarantee these kids some money. Hey, we're going to pay you X amount of dollars to come here because based on what we put into this organization in this program. And I think that's what he felt, and I think that may have been a misunderstanding on his part. And I think because that's what he said they're doing, and I don't think that's what they're doing. But if that is what they're doing and it's not illegal, then oh well. Now, I don't think that's necessarily a bad deal if that's the deal that they're doing and it's within the guidelines of college sports. Nick did say a comment that I don't know if I agree with it or not. He's saying that the moment we get into paying kids for college, then we're done with the sport. I don't know if I agree with that because there's other ways that kids can make money without even going to college. So you're not going to have an issue where you're trying to get a certain kid in your college by paying them. You're going to have an issue with trying to get kids to go to college, period, because they can make so much money without going. You know, just like we talked about before, EA Esports. You know what I'm saying? You got 16, 17-year-old kids got YouTube accounts and making millions of dollars, you know, on all these different social media platforms. And, you know, it's going to get more and more and more intense. And it's going to be, everybody got a YouTube page. Look at me, you know. Trying to get kids to even go to college is going to be the new norm. You know, mark my word, here in the near future. So I don't think you're going to have an issue with that money being the main topic of discussion when it comes down to kids, because that's just what it's going to have to be for these kids to come to your school. It's going to have to be about the money that they can potentially make. And whether at this point it's too early to tell whether I agree with that or not. But at the end of the day, these programs make a lot of money off these kids. So, and that's all I'm going to say about that. So you see how I did that? I gave my opinion without really giving an opinion. I kind of stayed neutral, but then I got said some things, you know. So I guess that wasn't really as controversial as it could have been, nor the comment before. But this one, and excuse me if I get a little rowdy on this one, but this one, yeah, Tim Anderson and Josh Donaldson. The whole Jackie Robinson comment that Josh made against Tim. Before I get into my opinion, let me just straight up say this. Yes, to anybody want to know, to anybody have any questions or whatever about what Josh meant or said or what he was alluding to, his psyche, whatever he was going in his mind, forget all that. What he did and what he said was intentional racism, and he knew what he was doing. And I think a lot of people are missing what's in front of our face. I've heard other analysts say that, just because Josh came out and made a comment that this is what Tim has called himself in the past, and there's an interview where he did allude to himself as Jackie Robinson, and then it said times before that they joked about it. So now it's kind of hard to say that what he said and did was racist based on previous communication they had with each other. And let me tell you right now, that don't fly, because the time when they joked about him being Jackie Robinson was a different times. They were on cooler terms. But now you're in a trash talking environment and you call him Jackie. You wasn't trying to be cool. You wasn't trying to bury the hatchet because you guys had been going back and forth with each other for a minute now. And you knew exactly what you could took a familiar phrase that both of you guys knew and make a comment that you knew was going to push the right button, and you knew exactly what he was doing. Because he could have easily said, in a comment of Jackie Robinson in a trash talking situation, he could have easily said, "You ain't gonna never be Jackie, brother." You know what I'm saying? But to say, "Hey, what's up, Jackie?" First of all, we're not going to act stupid. We know exactly what he's talking about. Jackie Robinson, first African American to step foot in the MLB and to make his name, put his foot in the sport, did it in a time and an era where it wasn't cool. So, and just in my thought process, yeah, Jackie, black man in a white sport type deal, whatever he could have. I'm not gonna put words in his mouth, but he knew exactly what he was trying to say and the button he was trying to push, and therefore it was racist. Because we know that regardless of how black folks throw around the N-word towards each other, no other community or no other race can do that. Just like women can throw around the B word towards each other, but no male better not call a woman the B word. It's that simple, And I'm tired of white folks trying to bounce off of what we do in our culture to give them a license to do it too. It's like, no, we've done with that. The fact that this white man in today's age can make a comment like that and then turn around and act like, oh, I didn't know what the problem was, is a damn lie. You know exactly what it is. We see we see what's happening in the world with social injustice. And it goes beyond sensitivity training, because it's a product of character and who you are in the confounds of your home. That's what it comes down to. And I'm very glad that he got suspended. I wish it would have been more. You know? So everybody, all this trying to take the road less traveled, the easy road, giving it the benefit of the doubt. And I'm one of the most benefit of the doubt giving people. But on this situation like this, no. No, this is not a bit. He knew exactly. It was the trash talking environment, and you said what you said to push a button, and that was wrong. And it's so crazy because when he made the comment, Tim pointed his finger like, okay, you keep on here, you keep on. He went back to the dugout or whatever, and all of a sudden the catcher and one of his teammates had to go and dress him. And then that's when the bench got cleared. And that's what Tim got out there like, okay, you know what, I got the back of my team. Bruh, you know, this is it. We got to go at it. Now the stage has been set. Let's do this dang thing. Because I'm not going to be the black man inciting a fight. So I'm going to swallow my pill, go back to the dugout, you know, and chill with my boys. And then when my teammates, and then when his teammate decided, hey, this thing needs to be brought to light. Now, hey, now thank you, teammate, for having my back. You know. So that's really how to say about that. We got to be more in tune with a lot of this undercover racism that people are throwing around, and I get that Josh Donaldson said that, oh, he didn't intend it that way, and if what he said was taken that way, then for that he apologized. Man, you know, I mean, you have murderers that go around and kill people in cold blood and then tell the family, I'm sorry, I wish I never done it. See, that's how I feel about that. You know, this ain't a sanity situation. He didn't know what he was doing. So that's my 2 cents on that. And boy, C20.